Thanks, Kevin. And top moment in Smite Esports history, Realzx actually getting outplayed by ShadowNightmare. We're going to see Realzx again, see if he can manage to hold out this game. It's going to be Fnatic versus Dignitas to close the first day of European Smite. Allied, though, I feel like you've been broken in now, right? It's you know, the more you cast, the more you get comfortable. But 2 days in a row now, the longest games in SPL history, 76 minutes, then 64. How's it feel so far?
Yeah, the prayer's out that one of these teams can decide to end it within 30 minutes. So we'll see
You're praying.
how this
Never
goes.
pray to Europe, especially Fnatic.
I've noticed that. But really, the biggest thing is this isn't old Fnatic, this is new Fnatic. We got the couple of fresh new faces.
That's true. Captain Twig and I believe it was, I can't even think, Badja, switching over to multiple teams. We just saw both of them play in the last matchup. And since Fnatic has brought in Jifffy and BigManTingz, and let's talk a little bit about Jifffy before we get into the game. He kind of has a lot of parallels with Mask, where he was banned for a while, ranked all-star, really known in the pro scene, making his first debut.
Biggest thing is attitude problems, apparently, with Rage. You know, Rager on the ranked scene, a lot of people knew him for raging, or whatever the case may be, but he was banned, and his comeback, new leaf, Fnatic realized his potential. He's been a real ranked beast because he's dominant on the ladder. He's always been, like, on the top three.
He's one of the big boys, and we're going to be getting into picks and bans here in a second. And BigManTingz as well coming in. A little bit of European challenger scene. He tried to make it into the SPL in the second season, unable to qualify with his team. And he'll be playing with Realzx, of all people. And how important is it when you switch supports? I know you haven't really done it in a long time. You were with Incon for a while. Yeah. How is it when you're, with a new support?
The biggest thing with any kind of new support is obviously getting the synergy down and making sure that the new support is vocal in terms of playmaking in the laning phase, and then when they're going to leave, when they're going to ward, and when they're going to set up for their team. Because not only is it important for the dual lane, but it's also very important for your mid and jungler, as it's really turned into a big 3v3.
Picks and bans coming through here for this first match. Isis and Khepri taken away by Fnatic. Raijin and Sol taken away by Dignitas, and Raijin's been pretty heavily contested.
Yeah, looks like the European scene favors him a lot more than the NA scene, as he's been a hot pick, a hot ban. It's been first pick worthy, at least going off of last game. And yeah, I see the Neith first pick. A lot of European teams love this Neith.
And this could go either way, but traditionally I think we're seeing Zyrhoes go it more. He really likes the Neith mid. He likes the Hunter.
It's very aggressive.
Yeah. Yaman as well, kind of the same play style.
Yeah.
What does having Hunter's mid bring to you?
The biggest thing is they are a little bit more reliable because their in-hand damage is a lot more than a traditional mage. So generally you start the fight once you clear the wave. So the thing that Neith and Kyron bring to the table is they clear the wave and then they slap you down. And they whittle you down little by little after each wave and can force the engagement. Whereas a mage, you're not going to do an auto attack trade mage versus Hunter. It's just not in your favor.
On the other side, though, Dignitas picking up BAtz and Chronos, and Raw Athena locked in for Fnatic. This seems like a lot of early kill potential, a lot of pick potential on their squad.
Yes, any kind of Neith ult taunt can be set up into a Raw. It really depends on what this Raw decides to do build-wise. If this is a full damage Raw, it could be very scary against BAtz. Chronos definitely have plenty of damage potential and a lot of setup so far. So obviously Chronos is the late game carry, but BAtz has a lot of disruption and setup on Team Dignitas as Bacchus gets locked in third.
And you just, disruption kind of the key there. Bacchus, one of the most annoying CCs in the game with Intoxicate.
Yeah.
Like the drunk state, like only beads cleanses it right now.
And it's 8 seconds long.
Is it really that long?
Yeah,
I always forget. You always forget. It's just so annoying. It's hard to deal with, but bans now. Dignitas going to take away maniaK's Vamana, it seems, and Fnatic, it looks like they're going to start targeting out Hunter, seeing as Team Dignitas hasn't picked one up yet.
Yeah, the Hui ban is going to be key. Making sure that you can't have the stuns, can't have the ricochets, etc. And then we have the Thor ban, which I definitely respect. Don't want to have any more global on that side of Fnatic. I mean, that's 2 global ults already.
If you are Team Dignitas here, who are you picking up? Who is iRens going to look for now that Neith is picked up, more than likely going to Realzx, and Hoi and Kyron have been taken away?
With Bacchus, you're probably looking for kill potential on the backside of one of the waves. Bacchus not really known for the wave clear. So you really have 2 choices, kill potential or wave clear. So it really depends on like what kind of style he's going for, and also depends on how much you can trust your mid jungle so you can look for the kills later on. So I'd imagine something like Onher, I think, would be very good with this Bacchus because Onher's, for the recent patch 3.4, Onher did get a little bit of love with the penetration buff on his passive and a little bit of mana cost reduction on his impale.
It's going to be Ram picked up for iRens, and iRens...
Ram got buff too.
Honestly, he did get a little bit of mana reduced on the wave clear there for Astral Arrows. And honestly, iRens played Rom really well at Super Regionals. And he was someone who really struggled online, or at least wasn't getting it going. But coming into Super Regionals, fantastic performance with Team Dignitas, almost actually able to upset Paradigm even.
Yeah, he stepped up, especially during that set, able to bring it to Game 5. And iRens really has been known for the Rama for a bit now, so this brings a little bit of both worlds. You have the lane clear to help
Chang'e.
out.
I'm going to interrupt you. Chang'e.
What the?
Yeah.
Is that DM?
Is Brandon playing in this game?
Yeah.
I mean, he did step off stage. Is he subbing right now?
So let's talk about this.
Okay.
This is obviously versus Bellona. It could be switched. It could be Chronos Soul Lane and Chang'e mid, which Chang'e mid isn't that bad.
We've seen the double.
Okay.
Do you think it's double starter Chang'e? Because we know
It could be.
Zyrhoes has actually run that before, where
it depends.
he picks up the Vamp Shroud and then switches off. But it is going to be TheDarkDodo in the Soul Lane on Chang'e. And that's something we mentioned. Jifffy and BigManTingz coming into Fnatic. 2 new members for Dignitas heading into Season 3. Suntouch makes his return to the competitive
Suntouch
scene
boys,
in
yes.
support, which I think actually was his most successful role that we've seen him play in competitive play. Outside of Cloud9, I think he jungled pretty well.
I feel like
for a while.
Suntouch's best roles have been like mid and support. I feel like he plays a little bit of jank when it comes to support, but he makes it work depending on the flavor of his team. And this is really more of Suntouch's jank, as Bacchus isn't really highly too favored, even between European and NA teams. But we did see some Bacchus bans the last game, and we will see if Suntouch can make this Bacchus work this game, as this is so much kill potential, even for mid lane, if played correctly. If Suntouch can get the key flops, he can really set his team up for an early game.
Honestly, I'm looking at these team comps. Fnatic, it really seems like they want to look for these early smaller fights, right? They have the double globals in the dual lane, the Neith, Athena ults, and then they have Jifffy, on the Fenrir, has a lot of kill potential, same with the raw comboing. But coming into team fights, I mean, Dignitas just have so much AoE burst.
Yeah, I think when it comes to team fights, if the big thing is, can TheDarkDodo, can he get out of early game laning phase, Chang'e versus Bellona, and can Fnatic abuse the global positioning that they have? They have a kind of a global lead already. After 5, they have so many ults to abuse the fact that they can get anywhere on the map that they want.
Starting off, though, pretty standard starts. No invades, both teams with some aggressive warding, but no one going to take advantage of it. Raw going to be here alone, as Jifffy going to make the slow rotation. Red pot, and actually Jifffy going to jump in. Void's time stop just barely, but Dignitas have the superior clear early on.
Yeah, a little bit of early out push. It looks like Chronos BAtz going to the mid-left harpies. Looking to actually a big contest, might be in the mid lane. It looks like, I'm not too sure actually get it, but yeah, no, Jiffy's actually going to start it up.
Look at this.
No, the mid lane's not even there too. He's just soloing it. It looks like Zyrhoes is going for the push.
It was actually the early rotation from Athena, too, to basically guarantee that Dignitas weren't able to secure those mid-harpies.
That's cheeky.
Felt
but
comfortable that Realzx was going to be fine in the solo.
The thing that's scary about that, because it might also be because Realzx is playing Neith, but when the support leaves, like BigManTingz, being able to leave early, you give up a lot of lane control. But they might be confident with the fact they do have Neith, they do have Athena. There should be no way that Suntouch and iRens should be able to get back lane control after that wave.
maniaKK, though, going to take away the fire elementals. You could see the rotation from FrostiaK trying to secure it. And Chang'e versus Bellona. I mean, Bellona should have control of this lane, right? As long as she stays aggressive onto TheDarkDodo, who only has 2 health potions left. Yeah, or do you want to play it a little bit more passively?
I mean, TheDarkDodo is going to scale, and he's going to do what he's got to do. I love the sprint pickup. He didn't get what looks like a teleport. He's going to just try to sustain in the wave using the blue. So when we talk about TheDarkDodo, the biggest thing is, can he survive this laning phase? Can he confirm his buffs, right? And that's a big thing with mages going in the soul lane, because not only do you have to survive the laning phase, but you got to be able to confirm your boards, you got to be able to confirm your blue, back harpies, fire elementals. There's so many different objectives jungle-wise that you need to confirm, or else you fall too far behind.
And I feel like if you're Fnatic right now, you probably should be looking to invade, right? Especially with, we talked about earlier, the double global dual lane. I mean, if Jifffy just walks in on that spawn of the blue buff, I mean, that's essentially a 4v2 or a 4v3.
Is going to feel a Neith ult at least a couple times this game, if played correctly. It really depends on what kind of team traps they have set up here.
Nothing too much going on this game. maniaKK actually already out of potions. Did he start double 4? Did he start the
He's
4
been,
health 4?
yeah,
multi?
he's just been getting manhandled here a little bit, which is hard. Chang'e, instead of going for wave clear, if you notice, TheDarkDodo has been just going for the poke to put maniaKK on the defensive, which I respect, realizing that he's not really going to be able to contest maniaKK because he's going to get slapped down. He's going for the poke while maniaKK has to full clear the wave.
It looks like a bait. You can see Jifffy here, but he's only level 4. He needs only a couple minions to make this gank worth it, and he's going to jump in, but no ult.
Yeah, the sprint, more than enough to ward Jifffy away. Jifffy does hit 5. I think what Jifffy was trying to do, the second he hit 5, jumped in and then go for the combination. But not enough. Great reaction on a DarkDodo. And that's the scare. This is the scare factor of dealing with a mage mid or whatever. Now blue buffs respawn, and Fnatic have the initiative to invade.
It's a 4-man group up here by Fnatic, trying to steal away the blue buff, but jump in by Bacchus. There's an Intoxicate on 2. Neith ult sent, but FrostiaK, it's just going to be intercepted, and a successful, oh no, unsuccessfully stolen blue buff. And Dignitas, I mean, that's a win for them. That was the Neith ult, which means that's going to be on cooldown for another 90 seconds.
Yeah, that was huge. DarkDodo.
FrostiaK going in, though. He blinks forward. Zyrhoes forced to Purification. And now Jiffy's in an awkward spot, going to jump in place, but FrostiaK quickly jumps away, and he'll be fine for now. But Suntouch, though, looking for Jifffy, and FrostiaK's right around the corner. There's the time stop. One more hit. ShadowNightmare finds first blood. Snipe comes through. Not enough damage, though. And Fnatic, they're going to have to retreat, but first blood going the way of Dignitas, and that's going to be on ShadowNightmare.
Yeah, God bless. Chronos with first blood definitely feels good. Dignitas, I mean, that's ShadowNightmare, who's been like probably one of the most, I won't say underrated. Everyone knows that he's so good. He hasn't had a good chance to perform, so especially first week in the SPL, ShadowNightmare getting the first blood, you got to be feeling good if you're on the side of Dignitas.
It's almost like he hasn't had the right pieces around him or been in the team environment that
Yeah, like he's
allows
always been
him
like
to
one
succeed.
step below greatness, where
Right.
I feel he...
I wonder if this is because he plays Kukulkan and you played Kukulkan on Xbox. Is
He
that,
also plays
is
Hebo.
that the connection?
I don't play Hebo.
Okay.
He plays. I know him originally for his beautiful Hebo play, but Kukulkan, that's a different story.
Hey,
that's all
who's the better Kukulkan? You or shut up.
Come on, I'm a world champion.
You're a caster now, actually.
Yeah, I'm also a caster.
You're washed up. You're with us now. One of us, allied. Done. The Dignitas, though, taking a quick 200 gold lead. A little bit less than first blood. Fnatic been controlling kind of the pace of the game for the most part, securing a lot of these early mid camps. Reals going to be farming up, and you have to be a little bit worried for Fnatic if this pace kind of continues. You know, even if they're finding an even game heading into late game, I mean, there's just so much teamfight potential on Dignitas. Not only the Chang'e, but Fear No Evil, Bacchus, Intoxicate, and a late game Rom.
I'm scared because really it's gonna. I'm scared for DarkDodo. One kind of gank could upset the whole balance that Dignitas has going on. We do see the pen boots early, but really he doesn't have any beats to get away from a good.
He did go into the
jump-in
sprint.
combo. Yeah, I mean the sprint will help to kind of reposition, but the biggest thing is if he does get jumped on, the stun is more than long enough to pull him under a tower if he decides to push up, or pull him to, into a killable range. So it's scary if you're a Dodo right now.
To that, you know, Jifffy probably should focus on. We actually saw the early gank, though he wasn't level 5. Dodo seemed to have read it pretty well, but Jifffy and Zyrhoes just going to be clearing up for now. You can actually see, looking at the damage charts, it's been DarkDodo putting out the poke on a maniaKK. A little bit unexpected, I feel.
No, I mean, that's really Chang'e's kind of like claim to fame has been like sustain and poke, and just really like he doesn't really have, Chang'e really doesn't have full clear, and so you get the right items online, the power items, but the big thing is it's very hard to deal with. Ooh, great little reaction there, able to avoid the bludgeon.
Is this actually probably the best matchup that Chang'e could have in the soul lane? It's against a Bellona. He doesn't really have a ton of burst.
hard to
Actually,
say.
middle lane, Suntouch over the wall. Zyrhoes in trouble, and he's going to find that one. Jifffy jumps in. Ragnarok in play. Neith ult as well, and it's going to be Suntouch under tower, but actually the ult is intercepted, and Jifffy, he's going to die as well. Dignitas up 3-0.
Suntouch jumping over, able to get the knockup, confirms the kill, and then right before he's about to die, meditation baits and lives.
Oh,
that was
wow.
hot.
Did he? I think the Neith ult got intercepted as well.
Yeah, it was a great coordination from Dignitas to avoid the Neith ult and set Suntouch up for absolute glory, as Suntouch not only flops in, he does so much damage and is able to live with 1 HP.
You know, honestly, Suntouch has not had a lot of success in the scene for the past year and a half, I would say.
Well, like, he hasn't been around, right? Like, he kind of took, like, his leave, and then he's been, like, in and out. He's been, like, knocking on the door competitive play, and now he's finally back. He's in the SPL door, and this is really his debut, right? Since the old Cloud9 days, right, where Suntouch was on Cloud9. That's really the last that most people have heard of him, so to see him come back and really start off the game like this, it feels good, man.
It feels like he's a lot more comfortable in the support role. I mean, so far, I mean, the Bacchus has, 1-0-2, been impactful in every single play, and it's that core that's been working together so well for Dignitas. FrostiaK, ShadowNightmare, Suntouch, they seem to have a lot of synergy, and they're working well together for now. All three of them a part of all three of the first kills.
Yeah, and really this mid-jungle support combination, if they keep playing this 3-3 correctly, they definitely have the upper hand. It's very hard
look
for
at him again. He's
early
around the
game to
corner.
get
They don't know
damage.
this. Fnatic don't know that Suntouch is here, and actually, BigManTingz goes aggressive. Zero's in a lot of trouble. He's going to be knocked up. Here's the combo, Intoxicate. Time stop just off, but there's BAtz on one more hit. FrostiaK going to pick up Zeroes once again. Jifffy trying to keep Suntouch under tower, but the Bacchus a little bit too tanky, and Fnatic can't find him. And once again, Dignitas, they're the ones with the team fight, team comp, but they're the ones finding the picks so far.
I think that if they keep the initiative where Suntouch, where the Tom Clancy sneak around
It
jump-ins,
was.
yeah, like he obviously he has his stealth tactics on, a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, and if Suntouch can keep that up and just keep initiating and setting the pace of the game in Dignitas' favor, and they just rinse repeat, they could really get a huge
Big
lead
man.
here for ShadowNightmare.
Oh, I almost thought he was going to get turned on, but I mean, yeah, and is that going to be the thing? Are we going Tom Clancy? There's no more sneaky plays, it's just Tom Clancy
these
plays?
are stealth tactics, and I appreciate that because of lack of vision at the key locations of the corners of mid lane. A lot of people sleep on the fact that you can hide there for so long.
And when's like the last time, honestly, you've seen someone, especially support, come out of that back, the right side bottom?
Well,
like
that's why it's
you don't see
brilliant,
that ever.
right? Because like Suntouch, he recognizes that he could stay that mid wave to get that farm, but he also shows his position. So he sacrifices the farm for a little bit of stealth espionage, and then goes around for the sneak play. And I love it because not too many supports have the balls to do that.
Suntouch has the balls, apparently. maniaKK got a level lead on TheDarkDodo for now, and about a 300 gold lead. So getting the better of this lane for now, but it's to be expected for the most part. There's not really a lot of kill potential for TheDarkDodo, but as long as maniaKK, continues to pressure him, should get the lead. Gold Fury, would you want to look at that for Dignitas now that you've gotten a couple picks, finding the lead
Look
in
at
the
that.
core?
Look at him. Look at him. You catch Jifffy, do the damage, knockup's clean, and there it is. He just gets blown. Like, that's beautiful. Yes, perfect. Dignitas, rinse, repeat this strategy, and just get a huge lead and set up for Gold Fury. Like, you saw that? Sick. Beautiful.
Jifffy, 0-3-0, right? A lot of hype on this guy. A lot of hype on this guy, and I feel like he's not performed. I don't know if this is how he normally plays or not, but he seems a little bit unsure. That's where this is his first SPL
that's the
games.
thing. Like with these kind of stealth tactics, it's like of course you notice he looked in the mid lane. He's like, where are they? And boom, he just got blown up immediately. There was nothing he can even do to react, and that's the power of this Bacchus pick that Suntouch is making work. He's jumping in with the combination of ShadowNightmare getting the stun and the disruption of FrostiaK. They're making this 3v3 work.
It feels like Trickstanks to me. Suntouch right now feels like Trickstank, because this is what he does. He goes to Bacchus, the Wukong, the Guan, and then he just camps the mid laner. And he comes at them from a ton of different angles and surprises them. And now that Jiffy's so far behind, it's pretty hard for a Fenrir to get back into the action, considering 11 minutes in, he still doesn't have Jotuns done. FrostiaK's starting to work on Deathbringer.
Yeah.
And if FrostiaK can get Deathbringer done, and Jiffy's still only on Jotuns, he's just going to have zero impact in comparison.
Yeah, no, it's pretty important, especially Jifffy being behind on Fenrir, who's really prided for the early game power with his jump-in stuns and his disruption with his ult being able to pull people back. And really, like, the prime target should be Suntouch, but Suntouch, because he's been setting the pace so well in these fights, has been getting the upper hand, and Jifffy can't get anything going.
There's medbait as well.
Oh yeah, medbait OP. I love it.
Dash in, and here's the combo that Fnatic were looking for. Rewind going to be in place. FrostiaK going to get picked up, and Fnatic, they're going to find themselves on the board for the first time.
And that's not
11
respecting
minutes in.
Athena right there. That's all like BigManTingz. He was like, well, it's time for me to turn up. And he got a great taunt, great dash in. And really, that was like, your relic is down, right? It looks like
he used it, though.
he used it maybe a little bit late on reaction. I still feel like it was a disrespect towards BigManTingz being like late reaction, and really they didn't play to their strengths. They pushed a little bit too far, felt they had the advantage, and this is where games start to go out of control as they lose momentum.
If you're Fnatic, how do you regain control, right? There was that play on a FrostiaK right there. Are you looking to force maybe an early objective?
See if you can do that again, rinse, repeat that again with BigManTingz, and if that doesn't work, force the fight elsewhere. A big thing we haven't been talking about, TheDarkDodo, free farming. Level 13. This should not be happening.
But that's the thing, right? Both side lanes have been free farming.
Yeah.
Jifffy walked over to this lane once at level 4. TheDarkDodo read it backed off. Since then, he's kind of just been sitting there sharing farm with with Zyrhoes, and they haven't really initiated but one time. It was a bad fight, and Dignitas got the better of them. And since then, I mean, Jifffy 1-3-0. He's the one getting picked off. He's been the one that Dignitas have been bullying.
Yeah, and really putting the pressure on the jungler so Jifffy can't make the plays that he needs to make. And if Jifffy is an experienced member, which I'm sure he's an experienced player, I know that for a fact.
Not at the SPL level, though.
Not at the SPL.
Do you think he has nerves? Like, is that a thing? Have you ever dealt with that?
I mean, he's like a ranked warrior, maybe.
It's different, though. Coming
Yeah,
to the SPL
I do feel
or, like,
you.
LAN, it's like, if you've never done either of those...
He's been portrayed as like a heartless ranked monster. So I want to say he doesn't, but at the same time, you never know. Really, I mean, he's bringing it back. He did get his first kill. 1-3-0. He does have the Jotun's online going for what looks like a Spirit Robe. I don't know. Maybe he can bring it back and show the boys what's up.
Oh, Suntouch, though. Going to take a trip over to the Soul Lane for the first time. Ward, though, is there. maniaKK going to be able to see that, and it looks like Suntouch is just going to continuously roam. And that's one thing, too, is that Realzx versus iRens, right? Neith should have control of this lane, but both Hunters have been left alone. 0-0-0. No impact, and iRens is happy with this, right? He's Ram. He wants to get to the late game, and I feel like Fnatic, they're almost waiting too long to start making more plays.
Yeah, and I agree with you there because Realzx hasn't really gotten his ult off. He hasn't really made a huge impact with his ult because of the lack of the 33 in the mid lane here. We do have the small grouping out of Fnatic, and they haven't got anything going, but it looks like the call is made. They're going to clear the goal for you. Did they go for it, though? Doesn't look like it as Jifffy, you know, he's kind of wandering around looking for a play maybe in the making.
You can see BigManTingz there dashing forward as well, maybe looking for something. Suntouch and ShadowNightmare going to back off. I don't think there was a too big of a combo that they could have landed there, but Fnatic still showing presence, which I think is important. They're not just conceding and hiding under their tower. They're still in the jungle. They're not going to give up everything.
Yeah, especially with Athena. Athena's like one of the queens of initiation. So you want to make sure that you abuse that with your 3v3, whether it be Fenrir jump in or Athena dash taunt. You want to initiate and put the pressure, and that's what starts it all.
Blink online for FrostiaK now as he hits level 12. We've seen him, you know, kind of forced to jump in, but I feel like this could be the double sneak now, right? The blink over the wall, the jump over the wall from Suntouch. If you're Dignitas, are you still trying to wait for the late game and maybe find a pick if it's there, or do you want to continue the pressure up?
I think Dignitas right now needs to make something happen. Dodo, obviously, he just gave up his tier 1, like with Chang'e not having the best clear in the world. So really, what you want to have, you want to keep the pressure up in this mid lane and probably just keep picking the raw over and over again and look for tier 1 tower for map control so you can set up for the Goldfear. And that's really the big thing. The Goldfear hasn't been touched yet. It hasn't been looked at. It's been pretty passive since the first couple of plays. And Dignitas need to get back the momentum they lost from that one kill and set that up into a Goldfear play.
And that's kind of the perfect thing for them, right? They're the team fighters, right? They've got Intoxicate, they've got Waxing Moon, they've got Fear No Evil, three of the strongest team fighting abilities in the game.
Fnatic has to play the pick game. With this much global presence, they need to play the pick game and absolutely own it because they have sustain.
Is this Jifffy not being impactful? Because even though he's been killed a couple times, we haven't seen him go to any other lane.
Not impactful, but not his fault. It's been rough. It's been rough, especially in that 3v3. They underestimated their 3v3, got you know, a little bit of sneaked on, and he's fallen behind. And it's hard, especially as Fenrir behind. But even behind, he's still the same level as FrostiaK. He's doing a good job staying relatively even.
You can see the damage numbers right now. Both solo laners sitting at the top 7,000. A lot of slap fighting. But Bacchus, 3,333 damage. Suntouch actually doing the third most damage, and we've seen that, right? All the kills have been because of Suntouch's initiates in the follow-up by FrostiaK and ShadowNightmare. Gold Fury starting to be circled now. It looks like Dignitas might want to force something. You can even see TheDarkDodo, no teleport. He's starting the rotation. It looks like Dignitas wants to force something.
Yeah, and I definitely suggest they start something soon. They seem to be lacking a little bit in farm, even though they've been getting the clearly better initiations. It seems objective-wise, farming-wise, they're getting the lower hand, the raw snipe, not good enough.
CDR,
now that's going to be on cooldown. Yeah, I mean,
CDR, raw's all one of the lowest cooldowns in the game.
Yeah, it'll be like up in 20 seconds, like Odin ult. So
like 11 seconds.
Yeah. So, but Zyrhoes not afraid to throw it out there. Nice ward in the middle of the lane. See where they come in from. And really, the big question is, where does the next team fight start? What does Dignitas decide to do? If they're not fighting mid lane, where do the boys go to start the next
I feel like they got the lead to make sure Fnatic couldn't force any picks. And now they're just going to farm. Right, they don't need to force anything. Right, they can maybe try and look for some picks with Suntouch, but if there's nothing there, he doesn't.
Can we take a look at the graphs real quick? Because I really do feel like Dignitas aren't farming as efficiently as they can, which because they only have a minor lead. When I feel like it should be more when you kill the mid laner 2 to 3 times.
Jifffy going to be jumping in there off the back of BigManTingz taunt, but it looks like ShadowNightmare going to be trying to pick up BigManTingz. Left-hand side, Suntouch goes in, Intoxicate used. Real's going to be forced to Purification, and Dignitas, they're going to force Fnatic out of their jungle for now for the price of Intoxicate. Jiffy's also down. And slap fight continues in the solo lane in the meantime. But Dignitas, they could look to go for this gold through. They need to worry, though. Teleport is up onto maniaKK, and DarkDodo has no way to get there. There's Fear No Evil, and it looks like this is going to go uncontested. Zyrhoes
decided to give the bushes a little bit of a trim there. As
what happened there?
Oh, dude, come on. He has the Xbox controller, like, you know, a little bit sensitive. Come on, fam. Zyrhoes, don't worry, bro. I got you back. But, yeah, like, bushes get trimmed, and we do have a tier 1 dive as BigManTingz takes a little bit too much damage.
Jifffy going to jump in as well. Rewind going to be used on Chronos. Neith ult will hit him, but no follow-up for now. Suntouch in a little bit of trouble. Bludgeons here. maniaKK, big rotation over the top, and Jifffy does find Suntouch. No sign of DarkDodo, who was forced to back, and Fnatic, they lose the Gold Fury. Are able to get a kill, but it looks like maniaKK wants to force this fight. iRens is here, and DarkDodo now off of his spawn, and honestly, Fnatic need to be careful. Zyrhoes, he's getting destroyed by Rens, who takes to the sky. 1 snipe, 2 snipe, 3 snipe hits, but Zyrhoes gonna barely stay alive. DarkDodo, though, with his rotation, Dignitas 4-man strong, could look to siege, but I'm just gonna back off for now.
Yeah, with the sustain, more than good enough for Fnatic to kind of back away here, and Dignitas take what they got. They got the Gold Fear. They take everything. Light, little bit of light pressure. BigManTingz go down. Suntouch goes down. But overall, that's a Dignitas victory in terms of you know.
So coming into the split, right? Fnatic, obviously with 2 new members, they weren't expected to be able to challenge Paradigm and Epsilon at the start, but were thought to be a clear top 4 team, more than likely going to retain their 3rd place spot as all the other teams were mixed up as well. Dignitas, I didn't see anyone rate them higher than out of relegations. It looks like Jifffy could be in trouble, though. Suntouch going to jump forward, Intoxicate. 1 more hit. He's going to be able to get out for now. But a big snipe coming through. Zyrhoes finds 3, and it's maniaKK as well to pick up ShadowNightmare over the top. FrostiaK in a lot of trouble. I don't think he has enough mana to jump away. Zyrhoes, though, can't find it. And now a disengage from Dignitas. Suntouch going to jump away, and it looks like BigManTingz wants to fight. He has the taunt. There's the Neith ult as well. Suntouch, 1 more hit, and he should fall. Not intercepted by iRens, but maniaKK's pretty deep. iRens gonna chase Fnatic away, and Fnatic, though, able to find 2 more kills off the back of that botched engage from Dignitas.
Yeah, that was a huge little momentum swing there. I feel like Fnatic really needed that going into the mid game here. They lost the Gold Fear, but that's gonna be huge. Fnatic really kind of turning the tables for his team, and that's what maniaKK is obviously so good at, is turning the momentum in Fnatic's favor as they siege the tier 1 tower.
This Bellona has helped Fnatic get back into this game.
Yeah.
With this tower,
that was key.
Gold Fury, or the Gold Fury,
like
almost going to be negated.
A lot of people would sleep on this play, but they got both tier 1 tower that opened up map control. We actually have 1v1 attempt. The Athena ult is good on Reals. iRens did dash. He has no way of getting out. The Sanctuary is even better, but iRens, he looks like he's going to get blown up. Yeah, the rotation's clean, and really, the jump in was questionable.
He held his ult the whole time. Do you think that... I don't think Dig's going to go in. Do you think he should have used that ult the second the Athena ult
unless
came
he knew his teammates were coming, he should have accepted his fate, not blown anything. And because really, like, the best he could have done was run away there.
Like, if you're going to burn Sanctuary, you might as well burn the ult as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to blow one thing, then you can't just, like, blow Sanctuary that has an extremely long cooldown. Just be like, all right, fam, like, no ult. Like, delay and hope that your team rotates. But it felt like lack of team communication there. I mean, the rotation was there. And the Athena ult, you can never go for the 1v1. And I've learned this, too, from experience. Never go for the 1v1 with Athena ult up. Like, unless you know for sure.
Sometimes you don't think, though.
Yeah,
sometimes
of course.
it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, sometimes you just like, you know, you see red and you're like, I gotta kill him right now.
And honestly, 21 minutes in, that was the first time we saw Realzx and iRens go at it 100-0, right? Before they had been poke fight, I think like when the first Gold Fury was done, Rens had like 200 damage on the board.
Yeah.
Which means he had not been challenging him at all. So I think that was kind of like 20 minutes in. He hadn't seen Athena ult used once because BigManTingz has been with the core.
And the biggest thing to look for if you're going to try to bait out, you want to bait out pressure elsewhere, and then you take the 1v1. And the biggest thing there was that there was no pressure on the map. That was really the only focal point to kind of go to was dueling, because that's where the only potential fight could happen. So iRens taking a bad choice and falls because of it. But it's not going to affect him too much. He's doing good. He still has a lead on Realzx.
He's still got chin size completed on Jifffy. Being aggressive, but he's the only one here. Neith ult expended as well. There's no follow-up from the rest of the team. There's the side. It's actually off the mark. Suntouch, he's at half life. He will be able to jump up, though, and it seems like Fnatic trying to force some things that just weren't there.
And I like this, especially with this team comp. You want to abuse the sustain, abuse the pick potential, and just poke, harass, grab, poke, sustain, grab, poke, sustain. If they can abuse this, even though I would give Dignitas the +1 on having the better team fight, Fnatic, if they play their comp correctly, could very easily get ahead. Sustain late game is so underrated, as we've seen with the Guan Yu bans.
Really good for sieging.
Yeah, of course. And really, if Zyrhoes can get this Rob online with a little bit more items, the Warlock stacks, he can make a huge impact.
Do you think, as the fight might actually break out, Fnatic actually ready for the Gold Fury spawn? Real's going to miss the Spirit Arrow for now, but Dignitas, they don't want to give this up for free. And honestly, TheDarkDodo going to be able to do not as effective healing as Raw, but he'll be able to keep these players sustained if they take any poke. And
A lot
it looks
of people
like both teams gonna
underestimate Chang'e heals. Chang'e healing can be as effective as Raw if used correctly with CDR and magical power. Depends on his build.
10,000 healing coming out from Raw, 8,000 from Chang'e.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close.
Turn up.
Dignitas, though, going to start the Gold Fury. You can see a 1v1 of the mid laners over the right-hand side. Suntouch on zone duty, but it actually looks like Dignitas wants to force this. Fnatic, they're going to pop Sprint. BigManTingz actually backs off, and it's going to be a blanket from FrostiaK. Fear no Evil hits no one, but in the back line, it's two players diving. Jifffy able to find iRens. He's going to pick up Suntouch, who's in a lot of trouble. No jump for him. Realzx, he gets the last hit. Jifffy jumps forward. 3 members of Dignitas left alive, but Fnatic, they picked off 2. Now they're just going to take this Gold Fury, and with the healing from Raw, I mean, there's no way Dignitas can contest this.
Yeah, and that was a huge engagement there with iRens and Suntouch down. Off the initiation, it's hard for them. Like, they kind of threw their whole team fight away here, and that's the big thing, especially with Athena taunt being so potent. Rinse, repeat that, get the initiation that they need, and really with these picks, they can get so much. I mean, look at this. They're going to heal up, stay to full health, grab this tier 2, they got the Gold Fury, and there's not going to be any response out of Dignitas.
Fnatic down for most of the game, finally wrestling control back from Dignitas. Graphs 3,000 in the lead, 5,300 experience. A lot of that coming, it looks like across the map, only about a level lead from each player.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I think especially as people start getting closer and closer to level 20, the experience doesn't matter as much. I think Suntouch is doing a great job keeping up on levels. The biggest thing is I felt like Dignitas got an early lead, didn't abuse it enough, didn't really go for anything crazy, and they kind of farmed out, which was fine, but now they lost all the momentum that they had, and it went to a neutral game. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have an advantage, why drop it for no reason? They should. I felt like if they just kept pressing their advantage in different areas, it would have been fine, but they couldn't pick up anything mid, and they couldn't translate anything.
iRens in a lot of trouble, and Fnatic, they're going to pick him up, and now maniaKK actually surging forward, looking for FrostiaK. His jump is up, he should be fine. But Fnatic, they're going to have control of this blue buff as well, and continuing to put the poke on, jump forward. There's Purification. Jifffy, now he's being focused on. Suntouch doesn't want to jump, though. He knows the rest of Fnatic right around the corner, can't risk burning his escape, and Fnatic, they're just going to find a free kill on iRens.
And I love what Jiffy's doing. He played, he recognized the early 3v3 was gone, like no more, farmed up, and now has become a big tanky Fenrir and turned his 0-3 early game into a 4-3 late game, and he's doing a great job with this Fenrir, honestly. The setup's been good. His damage isn't high, but
he did go Urchin.
Presence,
after Yo-And he went straight into Urchin.
Yeah, and the presence is definitely noted. He's tanky, and he's doing his job efficiently. It's not that flashy, but it's more than good enough for the rest of Fnatic to follow suit.
I'm looking at maniaKK, right? Slap fight for a long time. It was the Dignitas core that was winning the 3v3, but once these solo laners come into play, I mean, maniaKK's 1-0-6. He's been a part of most of Fnatic's kills, and look at this. Fire Giant started up, and Fnatic gonna try and force a fight, but Fear no Evil and Intoxicate combine, and Fnatic, they're all split up. Realzx getting ganked in the back line, but he's gonna be able to stay alive for now. There's Waxing Moon, but TheDarkDodo, he's real deep by himself, and honestly, this Raw, if they can reset the fight, Fnatic could just look to heal up.
Yeah, the sustain's going to be key here. The Bacchus stun is good. The jump in, Athena, all BigManTingz trying to get out. He is too big, though. He gets taken out. ShadowNightmare cleans up BigManTingz. We do have a 2-for-0 trade. Jifffy goes down. ShadowNightmare credited with the double kill, and the tier 2 dive continues as maniaKK taking so much. He might not be able to get out.
He's as good as dead. It's over. 4-man white for Dignitas on what looked like a good fight for Fnatic. Fear no Evil disrupts the team fight, but Fnatic, they can't seem to combine together. It kind of disrupted everyone.
Yeah, they couldn't really get anything going, and Dodo Boys with the great ult was able to kind of dive there and help the rest of his team. I mean, really, like we mentioned, the raw sustain's nice, but the Chang'e sustain is just as good. And now Dignitas, what was looking like a mid-game loss, are bringing it back to late game. We got the Fire Giant.
This is the power, though, when their ults combine, right? Fear No Evil, Intoxicate, both hit 3 players. Fnatic, they're all split up. And honestly, Realzx is just getting beat on in the backline by FrostiaK untouched. FrostiaK doesn't full commit. He actually sneaks around the back of that team fight at the end and is able to find the last hit on Realzx, and then Fnatic just in an awkward spot. Do you think it's worth, though? I mean, we've talked about healing a little bit. Do you think it's worth that these players start building a little bit more active anti-healing? Right? We have the curse from Suntouch and some pestilences, but no true anti-healing.
Yeah, it seems like everyone kind of like plays around the anti-healing. They're just like, well, you know, I'll just do enough damage. And really, that's the biggest thing. A lot of people just disrespect Divine Ruin's potential of anti-healing, and we'll see that as healing comps become more and more common. Really, people just don't itemize correctly. Pestilence
is it coming back?
Enough.
Is the healing are the healing comps coming back?
Nah, maybe in EU. I don't suspect it coming back that much in NA. Besides, like obviously the Guan Yu, because being able to be tanky and heal the whole team to full is not cool. But regardless, I think that Dignitas is playing the comp correctly, and they're playing it great, especially for the lack of frontline. And we forgot to touch on this a little bit. Remember, this is 2 mages, an assassin, and a hunter with 1 Guardian. Like, in terms of frontline compared to Fnatic, which Fenrir considered pseudo frontline, Bellona, Warrior God, and Athena, the initiation of time. Like, there's a lot of frontline initiation coming out of Fnatic. But Dignitas, they're doing great as they grab all the towers in the duel and going for a Phoenix dive.
You can see Fnatic actually trying to split push. Real's going to be able to get a tier 1, and now the backs are coming from Fnatic as they know they have to defend this Phoenix.
Love this.
Dignitas going to recognize it. Actually, Fnatic backed in the tower, so they knew Fnatic would be in place, and they're going to take the free uncontested tier 2 in the middle lane.
I love this.
There's a tier 2 in the right as well, and a gold fury after this. They could just get a lot of gold and back.
Yeah, and really, especially when you have Chang'e late game, you have Chronos. I mean, look at the itemization. Ride to Hootie's almost done for Chang'e. You want to get that done. We have Chronos getting that much closer to the late game full build. Polynomicon, I imagine, would be next. And you just want to finish off the rest of your build and then look for a pick into a Phoenix.
Can we see Golden Hand actually before they back? Fnatic trying to force it. Yeah, a lot of players, 1,200 plus, a couple players at 2,000, the Chronos and iRens respectively.
Look at that. Look at he's just looking at it. He's on the corner. He's like, I can jump in you whenever I want.
Look
at this. It's so sneaky. BigManTingz.
He almost had it.
Okay.
He almost had it. Dignitas going to be able to successfully back for now. You can see Zyrhoes, and it looks like Realzx. Oh, I thought they were going to go for the Gold Fury. They knew they have to know it was up. They were there. They got the last one.
Now. I mean, like, it's really hard, especially with Fire Giant. It's probably running low. They could easily set up for a Gold Fury or the next Fire Giant if they want to get War Control. It really depends on what Dignitas wants to do. I wouldn't advise a Phoenix dive, and what Fnatic has to do is kind of regain composure, finish off any kind of key items they need for power spikes, and look again to regain control on the map. And that's always key. You want to regain ward control so you can look for potential picks or potential teamfight attempts.
The problem is all the wards right now are on their own side of the map. They can't really walk out more than that. Dignitas going to be starting up this Gold Fury. I don't think anyone on Fnatic's going to be here anytime soon with Fire Giant still wrapped around their waist. Probably not the smartest idea to force that.
Yeah, you don't want to force the initiative. If you get this red buff, that'd be great, but Dignitas, they take everything. And this is what you really want to do. Like, you just want to get such a huge lead at the point where Fnatic cannot fight back. And after all of that, if we take a look at the graphs, really the biggest thing is they turned that whole lead Fnatic had into a Dignitas lead. 6K
That's
gold.
a 10K swing.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, that's insane. And now, with a little bit of time, Fire Giant is left here looking for a Phoenix dive.
You can see all 5 members grouped up here. Fnatic, actually, Zyrhoes electing to throw out his heal. BigManTingz going to find a 2-man taunt. It's going to be the bludgeon from maniaKK. A jump in by Jifffy. Jifffy super low, though, and it's going to be FrostiaK to finish him. Waxing Moon hits 2. Zyrhoes able to snipe out iRens successfully. 4-on-4. Athena ult used. Suntouch trying to jump out, and the teams are going to trade 1 for 1. BigManTingz going to find the taunt on a ShadowNightmare, but there's the purification over the top. It's going to be maniaKK. He's going to be stunned out. Bludgeon could be big, but the meditation going to keep him alive for now. BigManTingz does find the last hit onto ShadowNightmare, and now 2 members dead from Dignitas. Suntouch very low, and all 4 members of Fnatic chasing him down.
Too greedy. too greedy. They got everything on the map, and then they had their cake, and they wanted more. Big thing was that Fire Giant was running out. We have about a minute until the next Fire Giant spawns, and really Dignitas pushing and forcing the issue by going for the Phoenix Staff. While they did get it, they do lose their whole team. So now the biggest question is, how does Fnatic answer back? And it looks like they're just trying to get some map control for the next Fire Giant.
It almost seemed like, I mean, Dignitas, like you said, they could have just backed off and baited into the Fire Giant, but they had that gold lead.
There's a lot of momentum lost. Like, people sleep on these kind of plays, but really, like, you're losing all of the right side map control. And look at this, Fnatic take that advantage, and they're like, we're going to start the Fire Giant. With the sustain they have, this could be very easily in Fnatic's favor, at least for the next team fight, if they decide to disengage off this. And this is crucial, too, because Dignitas need this Fire Giant. If they lose this, they don't have enough front line to come back.
Speaking of front line, it's going to be maniaKK on the zone for now. He's alone. Jifffy going to be here as well. Fire Giant, it's low, and it doesn't look like Dignitas are going to be able to get into it. 11-11 to kills, 32 minutes in. The back and forth match continues as Fnatic wrestle control from Dignitas and secure the Fire Giant.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very scary, as it looks like Fnatic do have the Fire Giant going to buy. And really, this is like where the throws actually start happening. I can understand why European games go a little bit longer than NA. Because, yeah, like Dignitas, they had it if they just played it slower.
Okay, I'm going to...
What's up?
You remember yesterday, right? You casted that game.
Okay, man.
76 minutes. Say that again. I want you to say that again.
You know, I'm not even going to jinx myself because I know, like, next time I come in, all right.
This one's going 80. You said this one was going 80.
96-minute games. I really hope that Fnatic kind of just recompose here and they look for the team fight they need. They have so much initiation. They just need to play it out correctly.
So Fnatic, actually, you can see the pings coming through. Both teams are pinging exactly what the other team is pinging. Fnatic, they have the Fire Giant, but they're electing to base race.
And I don't know how much I agree with this. How this will be a little bit harder for Fnatic.
Are they going to all in, both teams? No, Fnatic doesn't know.
You can tell they're kind of like, they're checking BigManTingz like, you sure, fam, I can back? No, we're committing. No, you can back? Okay, let's back. And looks like Fnatic throw off the call, and this is so sneaky. Dignitas Ninja of Phoenix, and they run.
Jifffy, though, trying to force the fight. Ragnarok, he's going to pick up one, and Fnatic, they're going to try it on FrostiaK, but a big waxing moon hits all four. And now FrostiaK in the back line does get picked up by Realzx ultimate. BigManTingz looking for the top, but it's not up. It's going to be maniaKK over the top. Huge snipe. Meditation keeps ShadowNightmare alive once again. Sanctuary in place. Suntouch belly flops on three. iRens takes to the sky. ShadowNightmare rewinds to the back of the team fight. Manad finds Suntouch as ShadowNightmare takes out BigManTingz. All of Dignitas is retreating. They left ShadowNightmare. He's alone. He will fall. maniaKK finds a double, but Dignitas lose three and only pick up BigManTingz.
If you notice the way the team fight went out, Suntouch he preemptively jumped in, recognizing ShadowNightmare was going to ult back, and then as Suntouch jumped in, the focus was on him. ShadowNightmare ult back, took out the support, almost took out Realzx, beating them down, slapping them away, and really, if he could got 2 kills there, that would have been key. But Fnatic, still with an advantage, they do have Fire Giant, are looking to pick up at least the remaining towers. But meanwhile, on the dual lane side, maniaKK just trying to push out, trying to get his Phoenix back up.
Why you gotta jinx it, man? This one's going to 80.
Dude, like...
Why you gotta jinx it?
What?
You said it as a joke.
I just...
You said it as a joke, but I mean, Dignitas thought to be one of, if not the weakest team in the league, going toe-to-toe with Fnatic right now. Fnatic do have control of the match, 14-12 in kills, Fire Giant around their waist, but they're down a Phoenix right now, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pick up Dignitas' one.
I feel like Dignitas have great team fighting fundamentals, and I feel like they're making right decisions. I think they just need to slow down in terms of taking objectives, because they make a little bit of crazy plays, taking the 50-50s when they could take the guaranteed 100s. So, going into the next team fight, the biggest thing is Fnatic didn't get a Phoenix off that. They only got 1 tier 2, and really because of that little bit of very risky play. It could have been a complete wipe and they could have lost. So extremely risky 50-50. Take the Phoenix and they won that. And now Dignitas have map control and they can look for the next FG if they decide to go for it.
Dignitas 5-man strong down the mid lane. Lotus Crown picked up by TheDarkDodo. Can we take a look at healing real quick before this one busts out. 22K for Raw, 14K for TheDarkDodo, and there's Realzx. FrostiaK, he's going to be focused down. Purification, he'll be able to jump over the wall. Fnatic, they can't follow, but Jifffy, he's turning his attention to TheDarkDodo. Suntouch trying to peel for him. iRens takes to the sky. It snipes in the back line, but somehow maniaKK able to stay alive with Zyrhoes throwing that heal over the wall. There's the Fear No Evil, hits 2, and ShadowNightmare in the back line once again. Jifffy dove too deep, trying to take out TheDarkDodo. He's circling all members of his team, and they're able to keep him alive as BigManTingz falls as well. And now Dignitas 5 members strong. There's 2 down for Fnatic. This could be the win if they want to pick him up. And there's Realzx blinking. FrostiaK going to head towards maniaKK, who's forced it back, but 3 members picked up by Fnatic.
That was huge, especially with this 5-man Phoenix. This could be end. I mean, Dignitas, they do have the weakened Phoenix. This is, yeah, they very easily could end. Take a look at the respawn time. This is like 50 seconds, fam. Like, this is it. Dignitas could very well set themselves up to end the whole game. They have the sustain, they have the damage, and really the key thing there was that they played that last team fight beautifully, zoning out the correct targets, focusing the correct targets, and hey, I'm so surprised at how much they've improved as Dignitas look to take the first SPL win against the Titans of Fnatic.
Whew. SPL Season 3 continues to surprise, honestly, everyone, right? Enemy upsetting Luminosity 2-0. Dignitas finding the first win against Fnatic. There is a game 2. I mean, what really happened for Fnatic?
So when we talk about early game, their 3v3 got dominated by the Metal Gear Solid tactics of Suntouch and the boys, right? So it really, the biggest thing was Bacchus was able to kind of get some like stuff happen, and really Suntouch set ShadowNightmare up to get fed out of control, and it paid off.
Yeah, he got first blood. We're going to take a quick look at this. And this was actually, I think it was Fnatic who forced the fight, and Jifffy just dove a little bit too deep. ShadowNightmare finds first blood. Also player of the game, a highlight reel full of plays. And it even on the right-hand side, right, when they dove that Phoenix with the base race, ShadowNightmare actually rewound to the back of the team fight. I'm not saying Dignitas should have tried to force it and save him, but I mean, he was doing a lot of work. He picked up one player by himself and almost took out a second.
Yeah, that was impressive delay tactics, having the team synergy and communication to understand that Suntouch is going to jump in first to, provide a little bit of aggro, get everyone's attention, then ShadowNightmare rewinds behind the whole team and slaps everyone down. Really, he was just doing wonders with this Chronos. The pick worked out.
What's the big thing about Chronos? Because relegations, we saw a lot of Chronos picked up from both regions with little to no success, but top 3 mid, a lot of players are saying.